All right, welcome. We are about to completely transform the way you speak English by fixing the one thing that almost nobody ever talks about. We're going to break that fear, wake up your mouth, and build real spoken fluency.
So let me ask you something. Does this sound familiar? You've watched all the videos, you've learned the grammar, you've listened for hours and hours. But then, when it's your turn to actually speak, your lips just freeze up, your tongue feels like it's tied in a knot, and your brain goes completely blank. I'm here to tell you, this is not because your English is bad, it's because of something else entirely. See, the reason this happens is because you've been a passive learner. You've been consuming information, collecting grammar rules and huge vocabulary lists. But fluency doesn't come from collecting. It comes from training. To speak with real confidence, you have to become an active speaker, someone who physically trains their mouth every single day. So how do we actually make that shift? Well, we're going to break it down into 5 simple parts. First, we'll get to the bottom of the core problem, the untrained mouth. Then I'm going to give you a super simple 5-minute mouth gym. After that, we'll unlock the secret to sounding natural with sound clusters, we'll unite your brain and mouth, and we'll finish up with a very simple choice, train or silence. Okay, first up, the shocking truth. Your speaking problem, it has nothing to do with how smart you are or how good your memory is. It's all about your mouth. It literally doesn't know how to move like an English speaker's mouth, yet. And you know what? That's a problem we can absolutely fix with physical training.
I mean, this analogy just hits the nail on the head, right? You get the theory of speaking, you know all the words and the rules, but you've never actually trained the muscles you need to perform the action. So of course, when you try to speak, your muscles are weak and the whole system just collapses.
So what this really boils down to is that speaking isn't just in your head, it's muscular. Your lips, your tongue, your jaw, those are your speaking muscles. And right now, they're probably used to the rhythm of your native language, which makes them feel kind of lazy or awkward when they try to make English sounds. Until you train them, you're always going to feel like something is missing.
Okay, so how do we fix this? Forget about hours and hours of studying. The answer is a simple daily routine that's going to build up your speaking muscles and change the way you sound for good. So welcome to your daily English gym.
And get this, all it takes is 5 minutes. Seriously, that's it. Not 5 hours, but 5 focused, physical minutes of daily repetition. This isn't about how long you practice, it's about how you practice. And this one small habit is more than enough to rewire your mouth, reshape your sounds, and completely reprogram your speech patterns. So, this daily gym of yours, it's got 4 super simple steps. First, we're going to warm up those muscles. Then, we'll use a mirror to build awareness and confidence. Next up is shadow speaking, which is amazing for training your rhythm and reaction time. And finally, we'll use something called a fluency loop to really crank up your speed. For your 1-minute warm-up, you're just going to do these quick little exercises. Just like in a real gym, this gets rid of tension and activates the muscles you're about to use. What you're doing here is basically flipping a switch in your mouth, shifting it from its default native language mode into English mode, which makes your speech instantly smoother.
And look at how simple this is. You can totally do this. 1 minute for warm-ups, 1 minute with the mirror, 2 minutes for shadowing a native speaker, and then 1 last minute for the fluency loop. 5 minutes total. The impact, though, absolutely life-changing.
All right, now that you're physically training your mouth, let's start refining your technique. Most learners sound kind of robotic because they speak word by word. But fluent speakers, they do something that sounds almost like magic. They speak in groups of sounds that just flow together like music.
So the secret here is to stop thinking in individual words and start speaking in what we call sound clusters. A sound cluster is just a group of words spoken together as one single smooth unit with no breaks. This is exactly what creates that smooth, natural rhythm you hear in native speakers. It's like speech music.
Okay, check this out. It's a perfect example. A learner might say, "What are you doing?" with a clear pause between each word. But a fluent speaker, they just blend it all together into one musical phrase, "What you doing?" It's faster, it's smoother, and it's way more natural.
And you can totally master this. All it takes is a simple daily practice. Just pick 3 common clusters, then repeat them over and over, kind of like a short song, to really build that rhythm. Next, try to use them in a sentence. And finally, and this is the non-negotiable step, record your voice so you can actually hear your own progress.
All right, let's talk about a painful truth. You can train your mouth all day long, but if your brain is still just filled with fear and self-doubt, your voice is going to crack. It's simple. Your mouth cannot speak what your brain doesn't believe. So, we've got to get them on the same team.
You have to remember this. Fluency is not about perfection. It is all about connection. People don't care if your grammar is flawless, really. They connect with your energy, your emotion, and the feeling behind your words. So let's train your brain to focus on expression, not just accuracy.
So here's a really powerful trick for you. Practice like an actor, not like a student. Just take one sentence and say it with 3 completely different emotions. It's amazing, because when you do this, your brain kind of forgets to be scared of making mistakes. It stops judging, and it just starts expressing. You become the sentence, and that is the true feeling of fluency.
You see, what we're trying to do here is get you out of that slow, painful translation trap. Instead of thinking in your native language first, we're going to build these little mental shortcuts, training your brain to connect English sounds directly to images and ideas. That is how you get to that automatic, thought-free speech.
Okay, so we've laid it all out. We've covered the problem, the physical training, the technique for sounding natural, and that all-important mental connection. Now, it really all boils down to one simple choice that you have to make, right now.
You can keep doing what you've been doing. Be the passive learner, collecting more information, watching more videos, but at the end of the day, staying silent. Or you can become the fluent speaker, the one who decides to train, to repeat, to show up every single day, and to truly transform their voice and their life.
And look, this is the hard truth of it all. I'm not trying to scare you, it's just a fact. You already know what to do. But having the knowledge without doing the daily active training, well, that just leads to a lifetime of silence, misconnections, and lost opportunities.
So, you have the system now. You know the truth about what it really takes to speak. Your fluency doesn't begin when you feel motivated or when you think you're finally ready. It begins the second you make the decision to train. So the real question is, what are you going to choose right now, today?